Some things are meant to be kept sacred, even from those closest to you. Today, I'm revealing the 5 things every woman should never share with friends, because what you keep private is where your true power lies. A woman's insecurities and self-doubts are some of the most intimate parts of her inner world. They are the fragile corners of her mind, where vulnerability meets fear, where uncertainty lingers, and where the pressure of societal expectations can feel overwhelming. Sharing these insecurities with friends might seem natural, even comforting, because we often think that friendship is a safe space for honesty, a place where one can be completely transparent. But here is the truth that many women fail to recognize: not all friends are equipped to hold your vulnerabilities without judgment, bias, or unintentional harm. Insecurities, when shared, can be mirrored back to us in ways we never anticipated. A friend might respond with a lack of understanding, subtle criticism, or even comparison, making a woman feel smaller rather than supported. Even the most well-meaning friend can, without realizing it, plant seeds of doubt or make a woman question herself further. This is why the careful guarding of personal insecurities is not about mistrust. It is about self-preservation and emotional strength. Insecurity is like a raw wound. It needs healing before it can be safely exposed, and exposing it too soon or to the wrong person can deepen the wound instead of allowing it to heal. A woman who chooses to protect her insecurities gains an invisible armor, one that allows her to navigate life with poise and confidence because she is not allowing external voices to dictate her self-worth. Every shared doubt is a piece of personal power that is released into someone else's hands, and power, once given away, can rarely be fully reclaimed. Friends may offer advice or empathy, but they can never truly live inside your mind and experience the raw emotions that accompany every fear, hesitation, or self-criticism. By keeping insecurities private, a woman maintains autonomy over her emotional landscape, ensuring that no one else can manipulate, misunderstand, or diminish her feelings. Moreover, insecurities have a subtle effect on perception. If friends are privy to every self-doubt, they may unconsciously begin to view a woman through the lens of those vulnerabilities. What was once a woman of strength and capability can slowly be seen as fragile or uncertain, even if she presents herself with confidence in public. Protecting these insecurities ensures that external perceptions remain aligned with the woman's true capabilities, rather than being influenced by unfiltered emotional disclosures. There is also a relational aspect to consider. Friendships thrive on balance, mutual respect, and trust, but they can be strained when one person consistently offloads personal insecurities. Sharing too much can create a subtle imbalance where friends feel burdened or obligated to constantly provide reassurance. This is not a failure of friendship. It is a natural human limitation. Every friend has their own emotional bandwidth, and constantly relying on others to validate one's insecurities can slowly erode the equality that defines a healthy relationship. A woman who understands this chooses to process her doubts internally, finding ways to confront and manage them without imposing on others. Self-reflection, journaling, meditation, or even selective professional guidance are tools that allow a woman to work through insecurities while keeping them contained within her sphere of control. Another critical aspect is that insecurities are deeply personal and often tied to identity, past experiences, and private fears. Revealing them to friends can inadvertently expose aspects of a woman's life that she is not ready to confront publicly. Once shared, information cannot be fully retracted. Words, once spoken, live in the memory of others and can subtly influence interactions, consciously or unconsciously. Protecting insecurities is a way of maintaining control over narrative and perception. Women who master the art of internal strength and discretion are often those who radiate true confidence. Their confidence is not performative or dependent on external validation. It is forged through intimate understanding of their own vulnerabilities and the deliberate choice to manage them privately. In this sense, insecurities are not weaknesses. They are raw material for personal growth, and when handled with care, they can be transformed into resilience, wisdom, and strength. By choosing not to share these vulnerabilities casually with friends, a woman creates a space in which she can confront her doubts without fear of judgment, gossip, or diminished respect. This choice also cultivates an internal dialogue that is mature and self-aware. She learns to recognize the difference between constructive reflection and destructive rumination, and she becomes adept at processing emotions in a way that strengthens rather than weakens her sense of self. In some ways, protecting insecurities is also about preparation. Life will inevitably present moments where confidence and poise are tested, whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or social interactions. A woman who has safeguarded her insecurities has a reservoir of internal strength to draw upon during these times. She is not relying on external reassurance or validation. She has developed the mental and emotional tools necessary to face challenges independently. There is a subtle but powerful freedom in this. By not sharing every doubt with friends, a woman preserves her dignity and her narrative. She decides when, where, and with whom to reveal the inner workings of her mind, and this selective sharing ensures that her vulnerabilities are treated with the care and respect they deserve. Additionally, the act of withholding insecurities from friends does not mean a woman is cold or unapproachable. It simply reflects a deep understanding of personal boundaries and emotional intelligence. She can be open, kind, and supportive without exposing the core vulnerabilities that define her private self. This balance is what sets strong, self-aware women apart. They maintain meaningful relationships without sacrificing control over their internal world. In the broader scope of life, insecurities can be weaponized unintentionally. Friends may not have malicious intent, but gossip, misinterpretation, or the natural human tendency to compare can turn private doubts into sources of judgment or diminished respect. A woman who is aware of this risk makes a deliberate choice to maintain the sanctity of her inner emotional life, recognizing that some truths are too powerful, too sensitive, or too fragile to be shared casually. Mastering this discipline also builds self-confidence. When a woman learns to confront her insecurities internally, without seeking external validation, she develops a sense of self-reliance that cannot be shaken by others' opinions or misunderstandings. Her confidence is rooted not in what others think of her, but in her ability to manage her own mind, emotions, and challenges. Over time, this creates a profound inner stability, a quiet power that radiates outward in all aspects of life. Friends will notice her composure, her resilience, and her sense of self-assuredness, but they will never see the private battles she fought to cultivate these qualities, and that is the point. The secrecy of insecurities is not about hiding, it is about controlling how they influence the world around her. Every woman who chooses to protect her insecurities is making a conscious investment in her personal development, emotional health, and social perception. This choice reflects wisdom, foresight, and an understanding of human nature because she recognizes that not everyone who listens has the capacity to nurture, support, or honor her vulnerabilities. In essence, the act of not sharing insecurities is a powerful affirmation of self-respect. It is an acknowledgement that her internal world is valuable, that her emotional energy is precious, and that she alone has the authority to decide when and how her deepest doubts are revealed. By keeping insecurities private, a woman preserves the integrity of her friendships while simultaneously safeguarding her own mental and emotional well-being. This principle applies not only to friendships but also to family, colleagues, and casual acquaintances. In a world where information flows freely and judgments are often swift, a woman who masters discretion is equipped to navigate life with grace, intelligence, and resilience. The decision to withhold insecurities is not selfish. It is strategic, protective, and empowering. It allows a woman to present her best self to the world while cultivating the inner resources needed to confront challenges privately and effectively. Ultimately, the careful management of insecurities creates a foundation for long-term personal growth, self-confidence, and emotional freedom. It teaches patience, resilience, and the value of internal validation. A woman who understands this principle transforms insecurities from liabilities into tools for empowerment, realizing that the strength she builds in silence is far more enduring than the fleeting relief that comes from sharing every doubt with others. By keeping her insecurities private, she is not isolating herself. She is cultivating a secret strength, an unshakable core of confidence that no external circumstance or opinion can diminish, a force that will carry her through the complexities of life with poise, wisdom, and grace. A woman's financial details and personal achievements are among the most powerful aspects of her life, yet they are also the most vulnerable when shared indiscriminately. Money, success, and accomplishments carry not only tangible value, but also a symbolic weight. They represent independence, capability, effort, and the result of countless hours of dedication. Sharing these details with friends might seem harmless, even celebratory, but it is a path fraught with subtle risks. Every financial figure disclosed, every success story revealed, creates a context in which others can measure, compare, or even judge. A friend may unconsciously feel envy, insecurity, or resentment, and while this does not always manifest openly, it can influence the way she perceives and interacts with the woman who shared. The act of keeping financial matters and achievements private is, at its core, an assertion of personal sovereignty. By controlling who knows what, a woman ensures that no external voice can diminish her accomplishments or manipulate her sense of worth. Money and success are deeply personal. They reflect not only material circumstances, but also effort, discipline, and resilience. Revealing them without careful consideration risks transferring some of the power inherent in those achievements to others. There is a psychological aspect to this as well. When a woman shares her successes, she opens herself to comparisons. Even the most supportive friend might unconsciously measure her own life against the achievements of another, creating subtle tension, doubt, or expectation. The woman who has chosen to protect her financial and personal accomplishments maintains a space in which she can grow, prosper, and celebrate privately without having her value weighed against someone else's perspective. Financial details, in particular, are sensitive because they often intersect with social dynamics, obligations, and expectations. A friend who knows about a woman's savings, investments, or earnings may unintentionally invite requests, judgments, or advice that are neither wanted nor helpful. Even friendly curiosity can evolve into subtle pressure, whether through suggestions about spending, investing, or life choices. By keeping this information private, a woman avoids creating scenarios in which others' expectations or opinions could interfere with her financial autonomy or decision-making. The same principle applies to personal achievements, whether in career, education, creative pursuits, or personal development. Success is not merely about the outcome, it is about the journey, the challenges overcome, and the resilience cultivated along the way. Sharing accomplishments can expose a woman to unsolicited comparisons, doubts, or envy, which may subtly undermine her confidence or sense of fulfillment. When achievements are kept private, they retain their intrinsic value and power, celebrated first and foremost by the woman herself, before anyone else has the opportunity to comment or critique. There is also a strategic dimension to discretion in these areas. Life is unpredictable, and relationships, friendships included, can change over time. Sharing financial or personal information without caution can create vulnerabilities that may be exploited, intentionally or unintentionally. in moments of conflict or tension. Protecting these aspects of life is not about mistrust, it is about foresight, prudence, and emotional intelligence. A woman who understands this principle builds an invisible layer of security around her accomplishments and resources. Another important consideration is the energy and attention that public acknowledgement of success can demand. Sharing achievements often invites discussion, validation, and sometimes praise, but it can also invite scrutiny, comparison, or even criticism. Maintaining privacy allows a woman to direct her energy toward continued growth rather than managing others' perceptions or responses. It allows her to focus on progress without distraction, maintaining clarity of purpose and independence of thought. Moreover, discretion around financial and personal achievements cultivates humility and self-sufficiency. A woman who does not rely on external validation to measure her success strengthens her internal compass. She measures her worth by her own standards, not by how friends or peers react. This internal validation is critical because it anchors confidence in something unshakable rather than in the fleeting reactions of others. Sharing these aspects of life can also affect the dynamics of friendship itself. Friends who are unaware of the full extent of a woman's financial independence or accomplishments treat her as an equal, interacting without envy or judgment. When the full picture is disclosed, even subconsciously, the balance of power in the relationship can shift. A woman who maintains discretion ensures that friendships remain grounded in genuine connection rather than comparison or social competition. This principle extends to the broader social environment as well. In professional circles, casual acquaintances, or social networks, information about finances or achievements can be misinterpreted, exaggerated, or spread beyond the intended audience. By keeping these details private, a woman maintains control over her narrative and preserves the respect and integrity she has worked so hard to build. It is also about setting boundaries. A woman who chooses not to share personal financial details or achievements is establishing a clear line between her private and public life. This boundary is not arbitrary, it is a declaration of self-respect and self-awareness. She is signaling that while she can engage socially and emotionally, certain aspects of her life are sacred and only shared with intention and trust. This selective sharing fosters a sense of security and empowerment. It reinforces the idea that personal success and financial independence are earned, respected, and maintained first and foremost for oneself before they are observed or acknowledged by others. Additionally, the act of discretion is itself a form of power. By deciding what to reveal and what to protect, a woman asserts control over her environment, relationships, and perception. She cultivates an image of confidence, competence, and self-reliance, not through ostentation or display, but through measured restraint and strategic sharing. This approach creates an aura of mystery and respect, where others recognize her achievements without the need for constant disclosure. Protecting financial and personal achievements also encourages a deeper, more meaningful relationship with oneself. A woman who keeps her successes private is constantly reminded of the effort, discipline, and dedication that brought her there. She internalizes her accomplishments, deriving satisfaction and motivation from within rather than from external applause. This self-contained fulfillment is more sustainable and resilient because it is not dependent on the shifting moods, perceptions, or opinions of others. Furthermore, discretion allows a woman to make decisions about when and how to share successes strategically. She can choose moments of recognition, celebration, or teaching where the timing and context amplify respect, impact, and influence. This intentionality ensures that her achievements are communicated on her terms, preserving dignity and maximizing effect. In a world where comparison and judgment are inevitable, the woman who guards her financial and personal successes navigates life with grace, security, and unshakable confidence. She recognizes that true power is not in broadcasting accomplishments, but in cultivating them, mastering them, and deciding when, if ever, to reveal them. This approach creates a life defined by internal authority rather than external validation, where relationships, friendships, and interactions are based on respect, trust, and authenticity rather than envy, expectation, or judgment. Ultimately, keeping financial details and personal achievements private is a profound act of self-respect, emotional intelligence, and strategic foresight. It ensures that a woman retains control over her narrative, her resources, and her sense of worth, while cultivating an inner strength that is independent of others' opinions. In this way, discretion becomes not just a practice, but a cornerstone of empowerment, a tool through which a woman protects her autonomy, her dignity, and her ability to thrive in every area of life. By choosing wisely what to share and what to withhold, she maintains a balance between connection and independence, openness and privacy, celebration and humility, creating a life of lasting confidence, respect, and influence.